These are some LED lights I got from Amazon, and I wanted really to replace the front light because my current front light, after 2 years, the battery doesn't hold a charge for more than about half an hour, so it's not great. What do you get inside? Little instruction books, not particularly useful. That's quite good. A charging cable, double-headed charging cable. Can't be used for data transfer, so it's just good for charging, but it's always useful to have that. There are 2 clips for clipping onto handlebars and things. The maximum size is probably about 32 millimeters, 31.6 millimeter seat post. And inside here, there are 2 lights, a front light and a rear light. Front light has 19 auxiliary LEDs and 2 main LEDs, and the rear light say 19 auxiliary LEDs and 2 main LEDs. The front light is much more powerful, and you can feel it actually weighs more, which indicates a beefier battery. It's much more powerful than the rear light, and we'll have a look, compare those in a second. And you've got various modes, depending on whether you want to economize power or whatever, or have flashing to annoy drivers. And it's a USB-C connector, so you can plug that in at work with that cable or another cable you've got hanging around, charge up. And the clips on very easily, just a twist like that. So if you go into a shop, you can just take them off. The only big disadvantage that I see is these are straight connectors. So if you put that on the seat post, the front light's fine, but the rear lights, I haven't found a good way of putting that so that the light doesn't point down in some way, which means you lose light if you're a driver coming from behind. The light's pointing on the ground, which isn't optimal. If you compare this with this Bontrager daytime light, that's got an angle on it, so it sits horizontal when clipped to a seat post or clipped to the frame. That one doesn't. You can clip it onto a saddlebag, but tends to kind of flop down. We'll look at those problems a bit more on the actual power of these lights in a second. This is the front light, 55 grams, and the rear light, you'll notice, is 43 grams, and the difference seems to be the battery, which is why the battery life of the rear light is less on full power compared to the front light. So the front light, I left this on soak test on full power, everything on, and you get a bit over 3 hours on full power. The rear light, you get a bit over 2 hours, so about 2/3, and it seems to be just down to the battery. You can understand it economises a bit, and you probably don't really need the rear light on full power, maybe, or unless you're using it as a daylight running light. And there, beware, you're going to get 2 hours on it with full power. What can I say? It's a bit of a pain. They're not balanced like that, so you can stick them both on full power, but you probably need full power more on the headlight at night to be able to see properly. This you probably put on flash mode, or just the 2 LEDs on, or something alternative like that, so maybe that makes some sense, and it obviously keeps the price down by putting a smaller battery in the rear light. So here you see the front light on a dark road, and it really does light up the road. It's claimed 300 lumens with an 1100 milliamp hour battery. There we are, looking at head on. And the rear light is claimed 50 lumens. And here we compare it. On the left is a Bontrager Flare, which is 90 lumens, and there we see the 50 lumens on the right. It's not really in the same league as a daytime running light. Pretty good at dusk or dark, but daytime, not so much. The lights are pretty easy to take off and remove, even one-handed. So quarter turn, but it's not angled. As you can see, it points down. So if you're behind, it's not really pointing in the right direction.